This is the Hard Thing Podcast. Today, we are overcoming average. Welcome back to another episode of the Hard Thing Podcast. This is the podcast that helps you overcome average, step up above mediocrity, all by doing hard things. Today is The Forge, where usually myself and my co-host Ty Crockett, we put ourselves under the spotlight, if you will, trying to do hard things, giving each other challenges, doing the action items that we get from our guests on Monday. Today's a little bit different though. I am flying solo on this one. So as far as Ty's challenge, you are going to hear his last challenge next week, as well as the challenges that I offer him. You'll hear those, but you won't necessarily be able to hear him choose which one he does. Either way, we're going to have a fantastic episode today. And tomorrow, there's going to be a special bonus episode. So stay tuned for that. Tune in and listen for some Christmas cheer. Let's get to today's action items, since we don't have the old challenge that Ty had to talk about. So we had Robert Farrington on the podcast. And Robert Farrington is the college investor. He helps young people who are going through college or who have been through college learn how to manage their money, how to get out of debt, and how to invest. And the action items he gave us are, no surprise, number 1, look at your finances. Number 2, look at how you spend your time. And number 3, optimize both. Now, with number 1, I have a budget that it's more, I guess, a money counter, you could say, a bill helper. It helps us know what bills need to be paid and so forth, and how we need to move our money around. But every time I get paid, I go through that. Now, my wife and I have actually been saying we need to sit down and look at our bills and see what things we might be able to cut out. And maybe that's something we can go through in the future. But every time you look at your money, you're doing something that a large portion of people aren't. There's a lot of people who refuse to look at their money or their weight or their problem, you could say. And sorry if you hear some whimpering. I have my dog in the background. She's being rather crazy today. And the point that Robert is trying to make is that what you find important, you spend your time and your money on. And if you can look at your money and you see things that aren't actually important that you're spending money on, like maybe some junk apps or some services that you don't really value, well, get rid of them. Eliminate those from your life and use the money for other things that are more productive. But one thing also that Robert did mention during the podcast, and I shared this as an audiogram on my social media, is that if you are in your 20s, you need to start investing, because time is your ally. The longer your money sits in being an investment, the more time it's going to have to compound. And I would just echo that statement for myself and anyone else who's my age in their 20s, as well as anyone who's, well, just anyone, if you start investing now, then you'll have that for the future. But if you don't, and you wait and you wait and say, I need to wait to have more money to invest, that's like saying I need to wait to go to the gym until I'm strong enough, or I need to wait to be smart enough to go to college. Like, that's nonsensical, because you invest so you can have money, not the other way around. It's also important because, like I said, what you value, spend your money and your time on. So going into the new year, I know that it's cliche to look at your life and try and make some plans and plan your new year and all that junk, but maybe it would be more valuable to take stock of how you spend your time. Rather than setting goals for the whole entire year, maybe it would be better to, in the first week of January, document everything you do with your time and really figure out if you're spending your time on things that are valuable. And the scary and sad part with this is that in number 3, optimizing both, there are things that are good or things that are pretty good that you like doing that you might have to get rid of. I know one thing that I might have to get rid of, and I probably should get rid of, is scrolling on Facebook looking for funny memes. I do that all the time. Or maybe playing games on my phone when I could be reading a book or something like that. And only you will be able to determine what is most valuable for you. Only you will be able to determine what you really want to spend your time on. And I think that would maybe be more valuable than creating some New Year's resolutions. It would maybe be more valuable to figure out what are the meta things, the things that are valuable in every context of your life, and then spend more time on those. One thing I'm also going to try going into the new year is, rather than planning my year or trying to be, have goals for the year, I think I'm going to instead plan quarterly goals that push me and are well planned out and well scheduled, and use those to push myself. I think the book, The 12-Week Year, or the 12-week year is really what spurs that on. Now, optimizing both. Like I said, like I've talked about before, it's crucial you have a value hierarchy set up, that you have determined what things are the most important and what things are less important. And the nice thing about this is that you don't have to be perfect in a day. You can work on it, You can work on scheduling things. You can work on budgeting. That's the nice thing about life. You don't have to be perfect right now. You get all the time in the world that you have left to really work on your situation and try and be better. One little story about planning. I've mentioned this story before, but I served a mission for my church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, to Italy. And as part of that mission, you proselyte, you teach, and you set appointments with people, right? And you also have to find people to teach and so forth. And one week while we were there, in my first little bit, I was still learning how to be effective. And the person who was in charge of training me, we had just been working hard for a week, right? And usually we do what's called weekly planning, where we sit down and we take stock of what's been going on. We really plan out our week, and like we've been talking about, we set our priorities. We say, this is where we are right now. This is how things stand. This is what we want to have happen, and these are the actions we have to take in order to reach those goals. And we do that every week, as well as figuring out what to teach certain people and things like that. Well, for maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks, we'd just been working so hard that we'd neglected our weekly planning. And at a certain point, we just have this day with just missed appointments, missed opportunities, things that just fell through. It seemed like as if everything that day had just fallen apart. And it came to a point where we were just like, you know what? We have no structure. We are like a jellyfish in the sea. If you throw us against a brick wall, we just splatter all over it because we have no structure. We need to figure out our game plan. So we went home and did weekly planning, and immediately things were better. We were less stressed out. We were less hectic, and we knew exactly what we needed to do. So here's a couple challenges for you. Obviously, do these action items, but I would really challenge you to take stock of your time. Maybe do an exercise of, documenting everything you do with your time in 1 week, and then figure out what your priorities are and start aligning your time and your money to fit those priorities. So those are our action items for today. Now I'm about to tell you the challenges that I gave Ty, but before we do that, a couple of announcements. If you want extra accountability in your life, if you want an opportunity to band with other people who are like you, then join The Forge. Now, you might know The Forge as the name of this Thursday show, right? Which is true. But The Forge is also the name of a special community, free for listeners of the Hard Thing podcast, that gives you exclusive access to live streamed content of these episodes, as well as exclusive discounts to merchandise on the Hard Thing podcast, and weekly challenges given to you as listeners of the Hard Thing podcast. More importantly, it allows you to connect with other people who are trying to do things like you. You can connect with people, offer your support to them in their goals, and get support from them for your goals. This is tremendous. In my personal journey, having Ty on this show and him giving me challenges and being able to talk with him about things that are going on, it's really not only helped the show, but it's helped me personally. It's helped push me out of my comfort zone. It's helped me do things that I didn't think I was able to do. So if you want that same experience, go to theforge.mn.co, sign up, join the community for free. And it's only going to be free for a limited time. I promise you that. Join the community for free. It's still pretty new, so it's pretty empty right now. Join the community, join with other people, and get those benefits today. Next, I am proud to tell you about a new opportunity that's open to you. So, lately it was my birthday, right? And I am very, very blessed because my family just really loves me for some reason. I don't know why, but they do. Because they ended up banding together and purchasing me, even though I asked for it, a gift called Fittrack. Now, Fittrack, what it is, I mean, most of us are familiar with like bathroom scales that tell you how much you weigh, right? Fittrack does way more. So I've always said that your weight isn't really a good indicator of your fitness, because your weight, all it does is basically your weight doesn't give you any more information, right? The nice thing about Fittrack is it gives you way more information. So you step on Fittrack, it uses these electrodes on the bottom of, under your feet, right? And from that, it's able to tell you your body mass index, your water percentage, your basal metabolic rate. It tells you your protein rate. It tells you how much pounds you have in muscle mass, as well as how many pounds you have in subcutaneous fat, as well as visceral fat. It's really helpful because it gives you many more metrics by which to measure your fitness. So that way, that weight actually does become valuable. It's much more valuable to see that I weigh this many pounds, and then a week later I weigh this many pounds less, if your muscle mass has stayed virtually the same. That lets you know that, hopefully, I mean, if you look at how much your fat has gone down, that lets you know how much your fat has gone down, right? That's useful, that's powerful, that's helpful. So I want to give you a chance to get into the Fittrack family. So go get a Fittrack body mass index scale. Use the link in the show notes below. It's our referral link. So by doing that, you help Fittrack and you help us, the show. I just got this, but I am raving about it. I love it so much. I'm actually going to hop on it here in a second and see my metrics for the day, because I love data, and the more data I can give it, the better, because I'll be able to understand trends and understand myself and all that junk. So go to the link in the show notes below. Hit that referral link and go get yourself a Fittrack today. Perfect for the holidays. I know today's Christmas Eve. Tomorrow's Christmas, so it's a bit late, but Merry Christmas, by the way. Go get yourself a Fittrack today. I also want to tell you that lately I have been into audiobooks. I mean, I've always been into audiobooks, but my family and I went on a road trip, and I've just been listening to audiobooks the whole time. And I just purchased Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is a tremendous book. It changes your life. So if you want to get a free copy, a free audiobook of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, go to audibletrial.com/thehardthingpodcast. You'll sign up for a free 30-day trial, which means you get other audiobooks at a discount. And Audible offers over 180,000 titles of every sort of genre. They're a tremendous service, so go get signed up today. Now, it is the holiday season, so I want to appeal to your better nature. Please donate to our campaign to raise $1,000 for the nonprofit Operation Underground Railroad. Again, sorry for the background noise. My dog is kind of crazy. Operation Underground Railroad goes undercover to rescue kids from sex trafficking. They're a tremendous organization, so help us raise $1,000 for them. Go to GoFundMe.com/overcoming-average to do that in the Christmas spirit. Now, again, Merry Christmas. I hope you guys have a tremendous Christmas Eve and you really enjoy yourself. Spread the Christmas cheer. Now, here are the challenges that I gave Ty. So I challenged him to do 1 week without complaints, 1 week of cold showers, and then 2 weeks of writing in his journal every night. And if you want to see what he chooses, follow our social media at the Hard Thing Podcast. I'm going to have him send me a video explaining which one he chose and why, and I'll post that up today. So stay tuned for that. Again, at the Hard Thing Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. Check out those social medias for the challenge that Ty chose. And also, come back tomorrow for a special Christmas episode. It's going to be fun, maybe a little bit boring for you, but I enjoyed it. So come back, listen for that episode, and spread some Christmas cheer. But in the meantime, keep doing hard things, and you will overcome average.